Hello, everyone. My name is Arunabh Dastidar. I am the founder and CEO of Leni. And Leni is the most accurate AI purpose-built for investors. I'm happy to get into a little bit of my background, why we are doing this, and what problems I face personally while working on the other side of table for a few years, handling and managing over $1 billion of assets. Uh, And past few years have just looked like educating everyone in the industry in understanding what AI can really do and what's this shift in technology mean for every individual, because it is different for different individuals who are working at a different level and different firms who have different assets or processes. And we recently have been ranked number one in the world in accuracy and output. That's one thing which we have focused on, because early on when we started building the data infrastructure in this industry, we knew for the fact that AI cannot be used for serious work given the generative nature of it, because if it hallucinates on a dollar or a number from your data or your documents, you will lose millions. And that's the key problem which we wanted to solve with AI instead of everything else which you see. And that's what we have focused like last 4 years on, and now recently been ranked number one in the world with different independent benchmarks. Google also have selected us in their forum and flying us out to their headquarters to work with DeepMind people, which is the best again in the technology. And now we are focusing on really rolling this capability out to make technology work for serious investment as well as operations tasks in real estate. Yeah, so we currently work with almost $100 billion in AUM across various asset classes, multifamily being the bigger portion of it. Um, where we have seen the biggest repeatable impact of accuracy and AI together is in operations and asset management of things. That has been a black box for years for a lot of people, because a lot of people work with third party investors, sponsors, LPs, managers. So data flows from multiple different areas, and managing it and then instructing and strategizing everything holistically has been a very big challenge. Or you need like 100 people team to actually do it efficiently. That's why there's large players who are just getting larger and getting more and more of the institutional investments, because they have that team that can follow through and not make this black box basically transparent. That's where AI actually comes in and helps a lot. One is not only on general monitoring and understanding what's going on, but on strategizing and putting out the insights from your data that helps automatically your teams to do and plan better budgets, improve the output on your NOIs, and actually increase your revenues by intelligently deciding what factors which are blueprint or DNA of your business impacts your revenues and costs. And most generic systems currently existed could not be tailored to that level on organization. And being the AI infrastructure we are, the context graph layer, the memory layer, which is very bespoke to each organization and their processes, allows off-the-shelf product to be like fully customized. And that's one thing which we do better than like anything currently exists in terms of software or BI or any other system, is even though it is an off-the-shelf product and service which is offered, it auto adjusts to very, very customized output for individual companies, and we have seen a lot of benefit where, one of our clients have saved like $3 million just because they were able to see the insight from their data, which AI layer actually brought in, um, and repair that event in their asset. That is a great question. Um, so AI-driven asset management cannot look like slapping AI on the wrong processes or data. And that's where a lot of companies actually going wrong or has tried to do things in a way where they're just brute forcing AI on top of their existing processes, which are either broken, or their data, which is like either broken. And you get into very serious problems there because most of the generic AI models or frontier labs that are available don't understand data in the same way. And that gets into the problem of consistency of what insight you're trying to get. And you ask the same question twice, it would give you two different numbers, and so on and so forth. It's very hard to get through that piece. So, what is the AI driven asset management actually look like is very solid data infrastructure combined with highly accurate retrieval mechanism. And those are the two things um, which allows the AI, the agentic layer, to be able to like triage and make sense of everything which is happening in your system, right? So the key part is, do you know how the data actually is bringing in? So for us, we have a universal data model. We plug into directly the systems and databases, plus your files and folders. So we bring all that together. And then we have the most accurate retrieval mechanism, which has zero hallucination, so that you consistently get the same results on your numbers. And then from there, on the asset management side, it's all about the strategy, knowing your NOIs, how they are trending, where you have delinquencies, where basically your budgets are. Like now, our AI layer, basically last week, one of our client was like mind blown by the fact that they now can create, because they had this good data structure which we have created, brought that in. We created a very good memory layer for them. And now what they can do, they can basically set up Leni to create their monthly budget on shopping list of their sites. So it can basically say, based on all the last 12 months of expenses you have done and what expiring leases are coming through and what kind of work orders you have, this is how July or August or the next few months are going to look like in terms of capital expenditure across these projects. And these are the things you should actually buy preemptively, and also can list out these were the vendors you have been using. And that kind of task and that kind of foresight, like asset manager having on the project, like really helps get control of controllable expenses, which are bigger contributions on like the NOI impacts. That's a very good question. That's where I basically spend a lot of my time in. And um, the difference is, um, I come from a technical background, and technology, being knowing what neural nets actually mean. We host these models in our environment, we're highly secure, and we understand the nuances of what really this technology is from a different perspective than a lot of institutional investors who have been like geniuses in real estate side, but don't understand the actual underlying technology of it, gets bombarded by a lot of misconception and marketing. So the view of AI from a technologist perspective and engineering perspective is very different than a view of AI which has been formed because of marketing of it. And what happens because of that, there are a lot of companies who actually end up trying to build things in a brute force manner, because the marketing of it for most frontier lab, because their business is actually to grab your data and grow and want to get to $1 trillion IPO, and that's amazing. But what they are trying to propagate, that you can literally build everything on any of these frontier models. But the challenge is there's a lot more behind the scene work that needs to be done to make sure that this is investment grade. And most generative work is not investment grade. And that's where the biggest distinction happens. So a lot of companies, and there is a lot of marketing, and there's a lot of YouTube videos, influencers all talking about this. It's very different to understand and like first try and fail and spend half a million. Some companies like in orders of tens of millions have spent in this and have a subpar product, then understanding the engineering side of things and what they can really do, and where the alpha is. The alpha today in all this is in how your company's context and processes are set up, and how your AI model actually grasps that with secure output, with accuracy, and with proper delegation. And that where the most adoption, everyone today is using some model, right? Someone is using it for, like GPT for something. Someone is using, cost models for other things, but nobody is seeing the same level of organizational productivity. And the reason is these three key things, because whatever productivity a lot of people are gaining by generation is getting consumed in verification. And that happened actually with the biggest sector, which is development, like software development, right? And now the throughput is basically blocking is at QA, at quality assurance, instead of really development, because a lot of it is done. It's the same in the other side of the table as well, where a lot of time which the junior staff is saving gets into the senior people now cross verifying, source identifying on a lot of these things. In most generative models are designed to lie very confidently. That also throws a lot of people out, right? So this is where like we see a lot of barrage of misconceptions, understanding how easy or difficult it is to build with AI. What is the core problem from investment grade output to a generative output, and all those kind of things is what we have been seeing. And we have seen people getting educated on the other side, and some people at the earlier stage of where they are on the Kruger-Dunning effect, where they are just thinking everything from the marketing side of things. I think that's a great question, and I have written about it as well. And it is all related to everything which has human relationships, and how do you grow. Commercial real estate for years is a relationship business. If your biggest asset is relationship, all your humans in your organization should be geared towards that relationship. And be it a junior analyst to a senior VP to your MD, everyone needs to be geared towards either customer service, investor relation, and people, and that enhances the company's actually growth big time. Today 60 to 70% of them are stuck in like quote unquote back office work, which they don't consider back office work. Like they think that it is all front office, but it is not. And I have been on the other side of the table, my partners have been on the other side of the table. There is a lot of work that doesn't require you to integrate, like talk to anyone, and just sit on your Excel sheet and just sit there and for weeks and like figure things out. And that is the thing which AI should not do. And that's why we build something which is purely for accuracy and back office. Yeah, Again, a great question. The firms who are starting to actually evolve and like looking at AI is, I would recommend them first look at their data and processes. That's where AI starts. The best way how we actually go in and help these companies where they are looking at AI is first understanding their workflows and understanding the areas where they're ready to implement AI and the areas where they need to actually do some internal work. Um, a lot of companies, when we get in and they see how powerful the output is, how powerful the things they can do now, even at strategy and investment strategy level, once their data and memory and custom context graph is set up on their workflow, they go through this very interesting process, which we call our adoption process, where they themselves internally actually have to agree on certain things about the process which were not ever discussed, right? So this is like there has been a very improving and uplifting actually experience for a lot of companies where they are huge. Every function have their own processes, and sometimes those processes are different than each other and definitions are different than each other, and they don't talk to each other. And when you're teaching a AI layer to understand all these nuances, you need a very self-correcting, creating context graph layering with people to understand those processes, and sometimes go back to your teams and say, okay, team A, you are saying this, team B, you are saying this, how can we reconcile? And that reconciliation exercise really helps a lot of teams to grow faster with AI. That's when they actually start seeing, they become the AI build company in commercial real estate, where like they're really seeing, they're not just having some licenses with them to do some generation work. They are really seeing the impact that AI can create in their productivity.